my name's Judy.
And I'm Ceci.
And together we are
Two Girls on a Mic. Do elevator music. Welcome back to another episode of Two Girls on a Mic, a podcast where we talk about anything from spooky stuff in the summer to I'm pulling a blank.
Relationships,
Yeah.
sex, sometimes drugs.
Yeah, and today we're talking about healing our inner child.
Yay!
Yeah, it's something we've had it on the list for a while. It's just, I don't know.
We've been pushing it.
Yeah, but we're here now. There's no escape. But how our weeks have been? We're pre-recording again.
So it's been pretty well.
As far as I know, I'm having a great time.
I'm probably stressed at work because one of my coworkers is out. So yay for her.
How fun.
Enjoy yourself, girl. But goddamn, come back already.
We just had, by now, we would have had Candace's graduation party.
Oh, yeah.
So that was fun.
I don't think they've met Candace.
No, but hopefully you guys will within the next month or so.
Yeah.
So
she's supposed to be on an episode. So
yeah.
We'll see.
So she's not, then we'll give you her Instagram.
You can follow her Nagger.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, pretty much all we could say. For Thankful Thursday, I need to think.
I also need to think.
BRB.
Honestly, I'm just gonna say I'm thankful for life. I mean, not everybody gets to be here as long as we have been. Some of us, like with COVID just passing a few years back, some people lost a lot of loved ones. So just being thankful for life in general and just being healthy and being here.
Yeah. I'm going to say, just because we're going to be talking a lot about it, I'm thankful for my family. No matter what I say in this episode, no matter how much trauma they gave me. But I'm grateful to have like a close family because I know not everybody has that. Like you said, like it's weird when I was growing up when I would talk like, oh, my grandma, because I would live with my grandparents, right? And some kids didn't even have like the fortune. They weren't fortunate enough to even meet their grandparents
or live near them. Like I only met my grandparents on both sides of my family once each.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and just the bond that I build with them in that small amount of time. Like with my mom's mom, I'm closer because I spent like 2 months with her and I built that relationship. And I'm like, damn, what if I would have spent more time with her? Like I'm sure I would have been like how you are with your grandparents, or how Derek is with his grandparents, where I would have that connection.
Yeah. So it's like something that I realize I'm lucky to have, and it's like I'm not taking it for granted. But now that we got all that stuff out of the way, as we mentioned, talking about healing our inner child.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put a disclaimer right now. I by no means think I had a hard childhood. This is based off of how each of our lives have been.
Yeah.
And
because some of us may have had obviously bigger traumas. But whatever it is, everybody has some kind of trauma, whether it be like less hard than others. Everybody does experience it because obviously our parents weren't perfect, and we're getting to that point in this time that we as generations that are knowing of this trauma, we are working on ourselves so that way when we have kids, or those who have kids, don't give that same trauma to their kids. So it's not that our parents were horrible parents, it's just they didn't know how to handle certain situations. So it's not no way bashing them. At least on our end, our parents weren't horrible. It's just one, probably that's the way they were brought up, their culture, or they didn't know any better.
But they were kids, literally.
Oh yeah, for you. But, I want to just put our definition out for those who may not know what child trauma is. Hold on, let me put. Okay, so this is from, I'll put the link in the description, but it says, what is inner child work? Inner child work is an approach to recognize and healing childhood trauma. It recognizes that our behaviors as an adult stem from our childhood experiences. Inner child work focuses on addressing our unmet needs by reparenting ourselves. This kind of self-discovery helps us understand our behaviors, triggers, wants, and needs. So it's pretty much, we didn't get the, what would you say, like, quote unquote correct parenting. Maybe there was lack of love or emotion or being able to express yourself, or maybe they gave you too much freedom. Now you don't know what boundaries are, stuff like that. It was just a lack of or too much of something, where now, for example, like some people who were giving too much freedom now don't know how to like
respect
respect boundaries, or like if somebody says no, they're like, what the fuck, I've always been told yes, why are you saying no?
Yeah,
so
take it a different way.
Yeah, so stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, just to go right into it, my first one is boundaries, because, well, I've mentioned before, I grew up with a lot of people in the house. Obviously, like, personal space was not a thing. But also on top of that, it's like a lot of input on everything. And whether you would do something like embarrassing or something, like, they would not let you forget about it. And like, they'd poke fun at you. And even if they knew that it bugged you, they would still keep going. And on top of that, like, onto like more serious, like, stick with you type of stuff. All my family, first, like, nobody in the family is skinny, was born that way, I should say. And so everybody's very comfortable to talk about weight. I never felt that, like, comfortable. Like, I wouldn't go up to my aunt and be like, oh, you look big today.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why you'll never catch me wearing like a tank top or something is because, like, I was super young, and they mentioned I've always had this like piece of like skin fat under my armpit, between my armpit and my boob. And it's always bugged me. And the one time I wore a tank top, somebody brought it up. So I like never. And it's like, now, like, obviously Matt has seen it and he doesn't care. And it's like, okay, I know nobody's going to care. But it's like, at the back of my mind, like, what if that's everybody's looking at it?
Exactly. Because it's something that scarred you as a young kid. So now, even though people nowadays are more accepting of all body types, we still go back to being that age where you were told, hey, they're making fun of that. And if somebody were to bring it up, and it may not be in a like poking fun of, just bring it up, it's gonna
stick with you.
It's gonna trigger you and go back to you being that age at that point. So it's like, it's gonna be a trigger for you. And it's like, why even get back to that when you can avoid it?
Yeah. And it's like, I think about it as like, I would never like, if Joey's whatever, I would never tell Joey anything about it, because like, what does it matter? It's him. He's living his life. So like, same thing with like going in the pool. Like, I would my mom would get me like these little swimsuits, and I would just feel like so that's when I started wearing like t-shirts and shorts. And it wasn't until recently where I was like, all right, like let me try to come out of my shell.
It's hard though. Yeah. It's because as a young kid, and you get quote unquote body shamed, and even though your family may have not meant it, it's still like a big thing, because a lot of people unfortunately will judge you based off of your body, and it's something that you can be sensitive about.
Yeah. And especially like with our family, they would give like nicknames to the kids. One of our cousins, and I always felt so bad, they called her Gorda. And Alex, she had chubby cheeks when she was a kid, so her nickname was Chubby.
Oh.
And it's like, she hated, like, a few years ago, she like blew up. She's like, stop calling me. Because like at that point, she's already like, she's grown out of that. She doesn't have the chubby cheeks anymore, but people are still calling her that. And she wasn't even big, but like, because they're calling her that, she'd be like, well, am I? Like,
And so, I've seen a TikTok where there's a sketch like, hey mom, so if you're gonna give my kid a nickname, don't make it a body. And they like start saying something. I'm like, dude, come on.
And it goes both ways. Not even like big, like Flaca is another like popular nickname, and that could make you self-conscious too.
Honestly, that was my thing, because I was always so skinny, I could not gain weight. And I've talked about this in the podcast, and they would always call me that, and I would want to eat and eat and eat so that way I can gain weight, because I'm like, I hate being skinny, like just to the bone. Like at one point, Derek told me that his dad, well, not his dad, his stepdad will call me huesitos because I was so skinny. I'm like, fuck, that's like, and I knew he didn't mean it in a bad way, but still, I'm just like, ugh. So now what does he call me, like fucking tamal or something? Because obviously, I was super skinny. I was like 80 pounds in fucking high school, and now obviously I'm not that weight. And I remember there was a kid that in high school that I had in my class. And he messaged me on Instagram like years ago. He's like, oh, Judy is is this Judy? I'm like, yeah, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh my God, you gained so much weight. I'm like, you fucking ass. I quickly blocked him so fast.
Why would you even say that?
I was like, dude, I was fuming. I was so pissed, and I just blocked him. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, that's not okay.
That's right there, respecting boundaries. And it's definitely something that you try to work on. Like, for me, for sure, obviously, I know if and when I have kids or like nieces, nephews, I know what bugged me as a kid. So I'm like, I don't even want to like bring that stuff up. If they want to come to me and talk to stuff about that, that's cool, because that's on them. Yeah. But I wouldn't just like just throw it out in the open. And my family has gotten a lot better, or my immediate family, not so much. You can't control everybody. But they've definitely like gotten a lot better of not talking about that kind of stuff. And if they do, they like make it a more positive thing than
I was gonna say, it's not that it's taboo to talk about your weight, but don't make it a negative thing. Like, hey hon, you're fucking gaining weight, lose fucking weight, you're fat. Like, that's not okay. But if you're like, hey, you bring it up in a positive, like caring way, like, hey, I've noticed that this, like, is everything okay? Are you having like stress or whatnot? It's very different. Bring it up as being very negative, like, hey dude, you need to fucking lose weight, you're fat, you know. Right. Unless that's the kind of like love you like. But I mean, for the most part, I mean, I think you have to be very respectful of, especially if you don't know the person, because you don't know what they're going through. What if this person is pregnant but they're not ready to, you know, tell people because they're only a couple months in? Or what if they have some kind of like PCOS, like that they can't control their weight or stuff like that. You just don't know what the hell people are going with, like, through. So
yeah, so stuff like that. Also with acne too. I remember I had a lot of blackheads, and every day my aunts, can I take out all your blackheads? Can I take out your blackheads? I'm like, I get it, I have them.
I think it's just anything with body is like, just be very mindful of what you say, how you say it. Obviously kids, they're gonna say things, you can't take it too hard because they don't understand like boundaries, and like they're just very blunt.
They're learning.
But also like, it's our responsibility as adults, like, hey, like me telling Joey like, hey, this, you can't say this, or you say it this way, because he is getting to a point where he's very blunt on things. I'm like, I think one time it's like, oh mommy, you're so big. I'm like, big this way, big this way. He's like, big this way. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, I'm not offended.
That's funny.
But stuff like that, it's just like having to work with your kid. Like, hey, it's not okay to say that. You know, everybody is built different. Some people are bigger, some people are shorter, some skinnier. Like, it's all okay with just different body shapes. My big one for me is wearing and just expressing myself however I want. Because growing up, my parents were very like, even when skinny jeans became a thing, they did not want to buy me skinny jeans, tight clothes, like skirts. It had to be like below the fucking knee. Like, they were very strict when it came to clothing. They didn't let me express myself. So when I moved out, and I still didn't fully express myself even after I moved out, because I was like, oh, like, I'm too old. I mean, I was only 22 when I moved out. I'm like, I'm probably too old for this, you know. I didn't start expressing myself till like I was probably 25, 26, where I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna wear my band tees and my Converse and like whatever I want, like my emo It's Not a Phase mom thing. And like dyeing my hair. Like I was telling Ceci earlier, I've always wanted to have purple hair, and finally, I think it was 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that, I finally pulled the trigger and I dyed my hair purple. And I was like, It was the best time ever. I was like, finally. But yeah, it's just being told, no, you can't wear that, or no, esas cosas son de los diablos, or whatever. Because I was brought up in a very Catholic home, and anything to do with like rock. Even when I asked my dad to buy me a Good Charlotte, Good Charlotte CD. It was the Chronicles of Life and Death, and he's like, all right, put it on. And I put it on. I was like, he's like, estas cosas is what you're getting, like cosas del diablo. And like, I'm like, it's not. It's just rock.
Take a deep breath.
It's not even talking about that. And yeah, he got really mad. I mean, he let me keep the CD, but he took it out of his car really fast. But stuff like that, he was like, no, like everything was devil music and stuff like that. And like, no, you can't wear like all black. Like, so it took me a while before even trying to like wear that. And when I was dyeing my hair, he's like, oh, you're an adult. Like, why are you acting like a kid? Why are you dyeing your hair? I'm like, relax. It's like, you should be mature, blah, blah, blah. Like, even then, like now, even the way I dress, you still talk shit about it. I'm like, I don't care. I'm old enough to make my own decisions. And like, yeah. I visit you and I only hear you for that amount of time. Even with tattoos, like my younger brother has a tattoo. He always wears long sleeves, hoodies, even in the fucking summer. So I always make fun of him when we're over. I'm like, hey, aren't you hot? Don't you want to take it off? And when I had mine, at first I was like hesitant, but I was like, man, fuck this. I'm 30 years old. I heard him talk. So I was like, I was driving him somewhere, and he's like, I asked him, have you seen my tattoo? He's like, yeah, I already saw it. He didn't tell me anything. I was like, okay, all right, we're moving along. But yeah, like even now he has never told me anything about my tattoos, because like, what is he gonna tell me? Yeah, go take them off. Plus my older brother has them, so it's like nothing new to him. And I told him like I wanted to get them, so his brother has them too. So I'm like, get over it, Dad.
It's so funny because every time you talk about your dad, I compare him to like my grandpa, and my grandpa's so different. Like, yeah, he grew up in like similar situations as you, but I think he's to the point now where he just doesn't care. Yeah. Because like the other day, I forgot what we were talking about. I was like, Grandpa, can I dye your hair pink? And he goes, yeah, and blue too. But I think, oddly enough, I have like the opposite, where like my parents let me like express myself a little too much. So like they wouldn't care. My parents would buy me like the band shirts and stuff. Like they never said anything about the music. They didn't like it, but they didn't think I was like having a summoning in my room or whatever. But it was like to the point where they were so used to seeing me in like dark clothes and like jeans and shirts and whatever, that every time I would think of wearing something like girly, they would make me feel self-conscious.
Oh, really? They're like, what's wrong with you, honey? Are you okay? Why do you want color?
And I remember because my mom would always bug me. She's like, well, we're taking family pictures. Can you at least wear this? And I'd be like, but I don't want to wear that. And like, it got to the point where she was just like, whatever. I just want you to be in the picture. And then I started wanting to do that. And they're like, are you going to wear it? Like, if I buy it, are you going to wear it? I was like, I don't know. So like, because I really like cottagecore everything. And their dresses are very like pastel and like stuff like that. And I talk myself out of it because I'm like, I don't wear that type of stuff, but it's so cute.
Yeah, it is.
So it's like me just being like, okay, I need to get over, like, nobody's gonna say anything, and if they do, then whatever. But yeah, it's funny that like that's what I'm having issues.
Complete opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, because they let me do the hair. I had to beg my dad like a lot before he let me do my hair, but I think because Gabby was like basically my older sister, she was dyeing her hair, and they didn't like, she would do it for me. So
got it.
Yeah. So I had a lot of eras. Not all of them were that great.
Some of them my dad should have said no.
Honestly, yeah. My main goal was to get white hair.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I finally got my dad to say yes. And I don't know why, but I dyed it turquoise. Actually, I do know why, because we were going to Warped Tour the next day.
Oh.
And I had blonde hair, and I was like, I'm not feeling the blonde. Because, like, if you go white, it's recommended to do it over a period of time because your hair will be damaged.
Yeah, dead.
And so I was just I was in a silly, goofy mood. That never happened. The white hair never happened.
It's like, to this day, I'm still waiting.
I'm getting there.
You'll get there. Give it a few years. Give it a few years.
I'm just stress myself out a lot.
This one can be a good and bad thing now. But being told no on like buying things like, hey, mom, can I get this or a dress or a toy or whatever? And because they were being frugal, they would say no. And I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, all my friends have like this. Like, one thing I still to this day haven't bought and I want to get is the Easy Bake Oven.
Yeah.
And I always wanted, they would always tell me no, and I still haven't gotten it for myself, but I will get it eventually. But now I buy whatever I want. And I recently discovered this. Like, I was like, why do I buy all of these stuff that sometimes I don't even need? Like, I'm so quick to just go on Amazon, purchase, you know, and you get the next day. And in my head I was like, well, because your parents would always tell you no, you can't do this, you can't get that, and now that I have my own money, then I can get whatever the hell I want. But at the same time, it's like, well, some of these things you probably don't need, you could have done without. But also I do with my son, with Joey, like, if he wants a toy, like, I'm quick to get it for him. Or not all the time, because I also have to like set those boundaries where I don't want him to think that he can get everything he wants. Like, whenever we go to the store, he doesn't get everything. But things where I'm like, okay, well, you know, it won't hurt to get him this. Like, one thing, I got him a kitchen from IKEA kitchen. And I was like, oh, do you want the kitchen? He's like, yeah. And then he got, like, he saw some other small toy. He's like, oh, no, I want this. I'm like, no, you're getting the kitchen. I'm healing my inner child through you. But he loves it. I mean, he does play it, so it works out. I mean, it helps him like learn as well. So, and then, and I think I brought it up on one of the episodes where my dad saw that I bought him a kitchen. He's like, why are you getting him girl toys? I'm like, you do know that like like really good chefs are men, right?
Majority,
yeah. So I was like, even having to fight that stigma with my son, with my dad, is like, get over it. You know, it's not a girl's toy, you know?
Yeah. I also have a similar thing, like having my own money now. Because, like, half of the stuff you see here, mainly my dad, because I would always ask my dad for stuff. He'd be like, no, like, you don't need it. He's very good at, like, buying what you need, not what you want.
The bare necessities.
And that's why he has money. So like with my ears, Disneyland, every like few months or every year, he'd let us get a different pair. And I remember I would like look and see which ones I wanted. Yeah. Now,
like, I get whatever I want.
Yeah.
Every time I go.
These are my newest ones.
Oh, they're cute.
Yeah, they're little baby Yoda or Grogu.
Poser.
But stuff like that, and like going to shows and stuff. Like, he would let me go to shows, but like at the time in high school, I wanted to go to every show. And it's like, obviously, 1, that's money. 2, we didn't live near like where they were having the show, so he would have to drive me down. So now that I'm like living closer to LA and like I have my own money, I'm like, well, I could go whenever I want. And it's just stuff like that of like having the financial freedom, which I don't know. I don't think it's childhood trauma. It's just like me wanting to do stuff. Because like he would buy me like stuff and like he would get me stuff on the side. But it's like he would set those boundaries, like how you are with Joey. And I'd be like, okay, like
okay, I guess I don't need it.
Guess I'll stop. And now I can't stop.
I think I have something similar where my parents are very strict, mainly my dad. Very strict on like what time you can go out, who you can go out with. Like, honestly, at night I needed to be home by 8, which is the time we usually fucking go out to movies or whatever. So I didn't really go out until I was probably 20, 21, and that's when Derek would come pick me up. And at that, he would he would go into the house and like ask my dad for permission to go. I'm like, I'm fucking 20 years old. So at one point, I think we were going to Horror Nights, and I was like, man, fuck this. I'm not asking you for permission. I'm just gonna let you know, hey, I'm gonna go here, blah, blah, blah. He was upset, but I left. I'm like, why do I need to ask you for permission?
Yeah.
Like, I work, I pay for rent, I pay for groceries. I'm a grown-ass adult. I have my own money. I'm going with my fucking long-term boyfriend at this point. I'm not gonna go do some like shady, stupid stuff. I'm going to a fucking theme park. And when we would go out, we would either be here with Matt or Steve or Pablo. So I'm with good people. Like, he didn't have to worry about them. And after he met Matt, he kind of like
chilled out.
Yeah, because he's like, okay, she's not hanging out with fucking thugs.
These hooligans.
And I'm like, we're literally just, sitting at a house, just joking around, having fun, maybe drinking.
Not underage.
No. But yeah, after that, I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
I'm old enough. I'm responsible. I'm not giving you reasons not to trust me. So after that, then I moved out, and then that's when I started going out to like clubs and parties and like concerts. Like, I went all out. Like, after I moved out, I was like, I'm finally living. This is what living is. Because I didn't go to my first concert to a Warped Tour, and I was 23, 24. I was fucking old. My first fucking concert at 24 years old. That's crazy.
I think I was 13. I've taken my parents to concerts. My dad went with me to Warped Tour one year because he didn't want me to go by myself. But, oh my gosh, I had something in my head about what you were saying. You were talking about going out. Oh, okay. So I think one of the reasons why I've never really cared about going to like clubs and stuff like that is because my parents would go out. Like, we'd stay at my grandparents' house or like at home because we were living with them. Yeah. And my parents and aunts and their significant others would go out. And then they'd come home, and like the next day they're just complaining about like, oh, it wasn't fun. So I think to me it always was like, well, is this what going out is? Like, you just come back and look miserable the next day. Because like I think about it, I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't pique my interest. Even going to bars, I don't like going out. And if I do, it's not like adult stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like theme parks and concerts and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I guess that's a part of my childhood trauma. But the last one I have is I just put my hair. Because when I was younger, all my family would comment about my hair color. They love the hair color because it wasn't this. It was like
it almost not your natural color.
No, it's growing out darker than when I was a kid. I meant this. Oh, the pink. Yeah, this is my natural. Yeah, so my family would compliment my hair color because I had like a dirty blonde / gold. I don't know where I got it from. Maybe I am Rapunzel. But so they would always say like how pretty my natural hair was, which is also a reason why they didn't want to let me start dyeing it. Oh. But I was like, I don't want this color, and now I want it. So but I would never really wear my hair natural. Like, my mom, when she would do my hair, she would freaking sleek my hair back and do like a ponytail. And I never liked that look growing up. Now I wear ponytails all the time. But I guess since it was done so much, I was like, yeah, I want to wear my hair down. Right. And going to school, I saw girls like straightening their hairs and curling their hairs. I was just there with like my ponytail. And so I think middle school is when they started letting me like straighten my hair and curling it. And when I would wear like my natural hair around the house, because that's the only place I would wear it, they would make fun of me saying it was nappy and like it looked like I just woke up. And I'm like, well, okay. So I was like, all right, so never wear my hair natural. And they didn't even show me like about mousse and stuff like that. They just told me that it was nappy. And I was like, all right. And one of the memories that like sticks with me, I woke up really late one day and my grandma was like, we gotta go, I gotta drop you off. I was like, no, I can't.
Like, with this hair?
Yeah. And I was like, I need to do something with my hair. She's like, no, you gotta go now. And I was like, well, my hair. She's like, just put it up. And that was when I like did not want to put my hair up. I was like, no. I cannot. And she's like, here, I'll do something with it. She like used mousse and like scrunched my hair. Mm-hmm. But it was still basically like my natural hair.
Oh, God.
And I was like having a meltdown on the way to school. And I remember one of my friends took a picture of us. And I think I still have that picture, but I hated it because of the way my hair looked. Mm. And that's something like I'm barely getting over now, where I'm like trying to, because I burn my hair a lot. My hair is very damaged. But I want to start like making it healthier, especially for the wedding, because I want to like grow my hair out and just let my natural whatever do its thing. But I'm like, okay, I need to stop using so much heat. I need to, because my hair, I like my natural hair now. It's like wavy. Nice, yeah. And it's like, I know how to control the frizz now. So it's like, all right, I'm getting there. Slowly but surely. But even then, like if I'm going to my parents' house, I try not to wear it natural because I'm scared that they're going to say something. I think I did it once. And I think Gabby was like, your hair looks really nice. I was like, thanks.
Liar.
Freaking out, having a panic attack.
I think my last one for me was just I'm extra needy with my family. Like, I don't know if you've been there when my brother like leaves to the like,
when you chase him down.
Yeah. So my brothers, my mom and my dad, they're very like, they don't show a lot of emotion. They don't show like love and affection. This is why I rely on my birthday and Christmas for fucking hugs. And just like I even like to tell them I love you, like they won't say it back. Like it takes a lot for them to say it back. My brother, I have to tell him like, look, if you leave or if I leave and you don't tell me I love you, what if I die and I don't come back and you never said I love you? And then he'll say it. Doesn't work all the time, but stuff like that where I'm like, I crave for the love and attention from them specifically, because they don't show it. And this is hence why I do this with my brother lives with me, and I chase him every time he leaves the house or goes to the restroom. I chase him and give him a hug. I'm like, just fucking tell me you love me. Like Derek will talk to her, like he's on his phone with his brother or whatever, and they're like, okay, love you, bye, and they both say I love you. I'm like, why can't my siblings be like this? Just fucking tell me you love me, assholes. But no. So it's just having to. I'm honestly, I don't know how I'm gonna heal that if they don't show me love. Like but Derek and Joey like show me love, so I guess that helps. But I still crave it from from my family, my immediate family. So if you're listening, mom, dad, brothers,
help her heal her inner child.
Just give me a fucking hug once in a while, a meaningful one, not for my birthday or Christmas,
or just send an "I love you" text.
Right?
Work your way to saying it in person.
Texted them, they don't reply back. So thanks. But with that note,
hopefully you guys enjoy. Tell your family members you love them.
Yeah, if you don't say it once in a while, guys. Yeah, it'll mean a lot to them. Put it in the comments below.
Tell Judy you love her. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. We want to know, I guess, your childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Is there stuff like this that you guys are working on? Bigger, smaller, doesn't matter. You're still working on it. You can let us know at 2 Girls and a Mic. Our personal ones are in the description below. And with that being said, you guys will see and hear us in the next one. Bye.